Hey guys, happy Saturday. I'm sick of just rambling on by myself all the time. So we're going to start bringing a lot more guests on and introducing you guys. That's actually some of the feedback I'm getting in the surveys is bring more people on these videos and kind of show what everyone else is doing within the company. And I think this is a really great one because I bet most of you don't even know that we have Danbury Property Management. We've actually been doing it for a while in a purposely quiet way to make sure we're kind of getting it the way we want. But I think it's time to finally let these guys out of the bag and tell you what's going on and all that kind of stuff. So, first of all, I want to introduce everybody. So, we can go around the horn. So, David, you want to start? You want to introduce yourself? Just anything about you and how long you know Danbury, that kind of thing?
Yeah. So my name is David Hans, and I have been with Danberry for approximately 3 years or so. I've been married for about 10 years and have 5 kids, so that alone keeps me busy on top of all the property management stuff for sure. And so yeah, we launched Danbury Property Management going on close to 2 years, but a lot of it started out kind of in the development phase and kind of getting some of the processes started out. But super excited. This year is all about growth, and we're excited to hit that next phase.
Okay. And then Josiah.
I'm Josiah. Nice to meet you guys. I've been with Danbury for approaching about a year and a half. And yeah, I just hopped on with David this February. Started taking over the Finley area, and I'm excited to see where we go.
Cool. And then Jeremiah.
Hey, I'm Jeremiah. I've been with Danberry for about 2 years now, going on three. I oversee the Toledo market area. Something to know about me. I just got married last year. I've been married for almost a year. Don't have any kids yet. Trying to get up to David's level with five. So
Oh, and you're still married a year later, but yeah, don't wish five on you too soon. It's okay. Give yourself some time. It'll be all right. So David actually approached us, to actually start this up, and we were a little hesitant because many of you may not know. I bet 80% of lawsuits in real estate actually have to do with property management, which is why we are so careful and very selective on who we have working in Danbury Property Management, and we trust these guys wholeheartedly. With that said, we've made lots of mistakes, we've screwed lots of stuff up, learned from it, and we have a really good, I think, foundation slash stronghold right now, but we're ready to grow finally. So David, give us the overview, like from an agent's perspective, what do they need to know about you? They have somebody that wants to rent their house out, they don't want to deal with the landlord stuff. Like, I don't know. You tell me, what should the agents know?
Yeah, well, so first of all, we manage every aspect of the rental property, right? And so from everything from leasing to managing the maintenance, everything, right? So that's number one. Uh, a lot of times we get questions from agents as they're kind of working with an investor and say, "Hey, we kind of heard that we're doing property management," and they're not really sure which way to go from there. And so first, I always recommend that you gather as much information about whether it's the investor themselves, what they're looking for, or if they specifically already have a portfolio. Get as much details as possible, right? And then send that over to us, and then connect us somehow. So whatever your preference is, right? So whether that's if the best means of contact is by email, or you want to set up a Zoom call or just a three-way kind of conference call to introduce ourselves. That's great. So we do have some literature that we could provide you. It's pretty basic right now. We have a standard kind of pricing card that has our pricing information and just kind of a small 1.5 page kind of property management insert. We are working on getting some additional materials to you guys, so that way you can have something in your hand, similar to like a seller's guide or a buyer's guide. So you can give that to your investor that kind of walks them through everything that they need to know. And then ultimately, we want to get more information in your hands so you feel more comfortable and confident about what services we provide. So the bottom line is get as much information as possible. Give us a call. Once again, so I kind of float between all markets, oversee all markets. Jeremiah is super actively involved in Toledo and overseeing the Toledo market. Josiah's overseeing the Finley market. But once again, you can reach out to any of us, just depending on kind of what the situation, the size of the property, size of the project. But bottom line is a lot of times we'll tag team some of these uh, new leads that come through depending on the project.
So I think, well, one thing, I'll include some of that information you just talked about in the email. So if you're watching this video, there's some of this information in the video. Plus, I'll include all these guys' contact information, in the email after this. Two, I think what's really interesting too for the agents is a lot of times they'll get calls from investors or somebody just wants to buy one property, but they also don't know what to do when it comes to management. And they're looking for that agent for a referral, or, they only want to work with an agent that has a backup to a property management company. I was just looking at a magazine 10 minutes ago, and Toledo's got ranked number 3 again in the most affordable city in the United States. So you have a lot of out of town people, that want to buy properties here. They want to hook up with an agent, but they also need property management too. And being able to keep that all kind of one-stop shop in-house kind of a thing is a giant value for the actual agents. So I want to flip too. So we're talking about landlords and sellers. What about, our sellers that are turning into tenants? Or, we get a lot of tenant calls as agents, people looking for places to rent. You guys deal with that too. So how do we find out what you guys actually have for rent, or, how to, I don't know, do we refer these people that want to rent to you guys? Like, what does that work?
Yeah, Jeremiah, why don't you take that and maybe talk a little bit about the new tenant credit building program and what that looks like for agents that refer business to us, and how we refer those new qualified tenants back to them.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, somebody calls Danbury at all saying, hey, they're trying to find a property to rent. If you go to our website, our Danbury Property Management website, and you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the pages, that has all of our properties that we have listed for rent, so you can find them. The good thing about that, if you bring a tenant to us that wants to rent out, the good thing about that is we actually refer that tenant back to you as an agent whenever they're wanting to buy or anything like that. So that's actually another referral for you, or another touch point for you that I like to say is, the more tenants that you bring to us is the more buyer that you might have in the future. So that's something good that we like to basically, use as a promotion to our, as our Danbury agents is, the more people you bring to us, the more people you're going to have in your pipeline down the road. So let's just say you bring a tenant to us, we refer them back to you, you bring an owner to us. That owner always stays with you as a Danbury Property Management. So if that owner ever wants to sell, we tell that owner they have to contact you again. So you still get to sell their property. Any tenant that comes into that owner's property, we also refer them to you. If they ever want to buy one day, we actually refer them to you. So that's also a really great feature that Danbury Property Management has. So that's just actually building more clients for you to maybe one day have and just make more money off of.
No, that's great. And
Yeah,
go ahead, David.
sorry, just real quick. And so we're actively helping the tenants build their credit as well. We have a program where they can enroll to report their rent payments to the 3 credit bureaus. And so we're actively helping them build their credit in order to buy a house as well.
That's great. I mean, and we hear lenders every once in a while that have some sort of program with that. I've never seen one that really is good. So the fact that you're actively doing this while they're tenants, and I mean, most of them want to be homeowners, they could just never get there. So no, that's an amazing thing. And Jeremiah, to your point, I mean, that's always been my concern in the past about referring to some sort of property management company is, once I refer this client away, they're gone forever. And so having you guys in-house and knowing that that client's gonna be attached to me, or from a landlord standpoint, I mean, any tenants that come to that landlord are going to stick with me too. Plus the landlord comes back to me, I think is a huge deal, and why it's so important that we have this in-house. So I guess one fun thing that I always ask is like, what is the most annoying thing that you guys are dealing with right now? Like, is it so many tenants and not enough properties? Is it everyone's ridiculous expectations? Is it landlords being ridiculous? Like, what is it? Like, what's some problems you guys are dealing with right now?
Well, I tell you what, Josiah, I know you're dealing with some stuff. I'll let you talk a little bit. Why don't you answer that question?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing right now is just fielding all the phone calls and dealing with maintenance, and we're actively working on ways to take down the load from the 3 of us, so we don't have to take all those phone calls and um, manage all the maintenance and everything. But it's really nice because we give options to owners of those properties to refer maintenance. We give options in our packages for pricing to make it easier for the owners of the properties to decide whether they want to field some of those phone calls or they want to send them all to us. And I don't know. It's phone calls the most annoying thing right now.
I can see that being a lot. Like, how
Yeah.
many properties do you guys have right now, roughly?
So we're approaching 100.
Okay. Yeah. So if you have 100 different people with all different problems and tenants are very different from owners, and it's a whole nother thing. And yeah, that can get messy, I
Yeah.
think, real
Oh,
quick.
yeah.
In my own experience, just with my couple that I have, it's like you go 3 months without anything, and then in a matter of 3 days, you have 45 phone calls from everyone in the world, it seems like, and everything's a disaster, and it's all the end of the world, and it's all going to end quickly.
Yeah.
So as far as agents go, Jeremiah, I mean, you're dealing with agents all the time and like that, and you're in Briarfield, and you're actually doing really great as an agent too, and selling and things like that. I mean, what advice would you give to all the agents out there? Like, just to add this into their package that they're thinking about daily, like, how can I add income? Like, isn't this another income stream they could add that they hadn't thought about before? Like, anything pop up in your head? Because you sell normally too, but you're doing this as well. So any advice you'd give to just a normal buying and selling agent out there?
The advice I give is don't stop trying to build your portfolio just with investors, which just with buying and selling. Just keep going, try to do multiple things, but also have tools in your belt to help those people that you're trying to help out. Have an understanding that if you do have investor on the lease addendum that you need to have information on, basically what you need to look for a property that they want to run out, but also just information to help everybody out all around. And if you ever have questions, don't be afraid to reach out and just access us as our Danbury Property Management. Also, if you have a client that's willing to, hey, they're buying this property, do you have any information on it, or do you have, what we could rent it out for, or do with the desired area, stuff like that. That's a lot of helpful information, is just knowing the area and knowing what the area could rent for and know the clientele that you're going to get in that area. So just having a general knowledge of a lot of things really helps me out.
And I think too, one that just hit me was think about even, you might have somebody moving out of the area, but they got that, to Dan McQuillan's point, he won't stop talking about it. Nobody wants to move when they have a 3% interest rate. So they want to hold on to that house because of that mortgage rate, but they need to go somewhere else for 6 months, 2 years, whatever. So they want to rent out their personal single family home kind of a thing. You guys don't do just, like duplexes and apartments. I mean, you guys are doing large single family residences and things like that. So a one-off listing that an agent, might get down the road, but they need to rent it out for a year or two for whatever reason, is a great scenario for you guys too. So I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
outside the box things too, don't make sure you guys aren't getting put in a box on the things you do. I'm going to give some advice that I'm giving to myself on this call. I have 5 single families in Perrysburg, and I am the worst landlord that ever came. And I give my money away all the time on rent and late fees and all that stuff. You as agents, you should all be buying property if you can. If you have instances where you can buy any type of investment property, it's the smartest thing. But probably all of you will be bad landlords. So these guys are here for you too as agents, because we're people pleasers as agents. And when it's the rental game is a very different game than selling and buying. So I think even for yourself, we really need to kind of be thinking about investing in ourselves and buying investment properties. These guys are here to help you too, individually, not just refer your clients. So I don't want to keep everybody too long because I know they will stop watching these if it gets too long. Any final parting shots or advice you guys want to give?
Well, I would just say it's a big opportunity for everybody, right? That's the reality. And some of the agents have been referring this business, have seen that, right? And so, some of our investors have sold some of their properties. So we would be well over 100 properties if we haven't had some of our investors sell them. A couple of them wanted to have in-house listings, right? And so there's some opportunity to now those were specifically our clients that we brought on that were not referrals in that case, but anyways, and so it creates, to Jeremiah's point, this pipeline of business. It's really a big opportunity, not just from the property management side, but really to be able to grow your own portfolios. And Jeremiah is doing that very well with his own clients. And he's got a lot of stuff going on with some bigger investors, and so it's just a really big opportunity that I hope people really understand that if they really grab a hold of this and we work together, there's some really some cool things can happen.
Cool. All right, we'll cut it off. The only thing I'll ask is, David, can you please share us with your fancy background so we all can have that next time? But other than that, Hey, I'll put everybody's information in the email and all the extra stuff you talked about. So feel free to reach out to these guys. They're all great. I think they all can make you some extra money. So find a way. So that's it for this week. See you guys.